Tim Burton is a very, very mixed director. There are some people that love his style, some people that hate his style, and every now and then there are people that are meeting in the middle and say, I don't know how I feel about his style. So what I decided to do was I figured I would watch all of his films so that I could rank them. He's done 18 films, so I'm going to do from 18 to 1. And 18 obviously would be the worst, number 1 being the best. And this will not include movies he's produced, such as 9 or Nightmare Before Christmas, which a lot of people think he directed, but he actually didn't. So I found that out. I had to look it up, actually, so don't worry, I fell into that trap too. So without further ado, let's get started. Number 18 is Planet of the Apes. This is the 2001 version, which it's atrocious. Mark Wahlberg's in it, and I feel bad for the people that saw the 1968 version and were all hyped up for the 2001 version, and then saw and were like, oh wow. Because the 1968 version I saw right around the time I first saw this one, the 2001 version, and the 1968 version, it's really good. It has held up well in the 50 years that it's been around now. But the 2001 version, oh my goodness, it's really bad. You'll have to see it to believe it. It's wow. Even the special effects aren't good. But number 17 is Dark Shadows, and this stars Johnny Depp and Eva Green, and those are the only 2 reasons to watch this film. This is based off a show, I believe in the 70s, called Dark Shadows, and I haven't seen the show, I'll be honest. So I went into it very open, this film, and it's kind of what you expect. It's Tim Burton's style, which is neat, but there's nothing really to it. It's literally just style and a neat performance from Johnny Depp and Eva Green. Both were enjoyable to watch, but they can't really sustain a film on just style and acting alone. But number 16 is a film that I feel very mixed about, and that's Mars Attack. This is a film that, it kind of is a cult classic now, honestly. There are some people that really, really like this movie, and then there are those that don't like it. And I can see both sides. I'm somewhere in the middle. Like, I kind of like the idea of, these weird looking aliens attacking Earth and it kind of being based off like 1950s-esque sci-fi films. I like that idea, but unfortunately it's too cheesy for me personally. Like I said, I can understand why some people would enjoy it, but me personally, I just couldn't really get on the vibe that Tim Burton was trying for this film. But again, that's just me personally. Number 15 is Alice in Wonderland, and this is a film that very ugly looking. The way this was shot, it's not beautiful. And to be fair, Tim Burton's films aren't meant to be beautiful in some cases. Sometimes they're very darkly shot. But the Alice in Wonderland, the original cartoon, kind of looked like something from an acid trip. Not that I would know or anything, but I'm just saying it's kind of like this remake, the 2010 version. It didn't really look like that. It looked very fake. But, I mean, the cast is neat, the costume design's pretty cool, and the makeup is very good. But that's about it. That's really all I can recommend for Alice in Wonderland, which is why it's still low on the list. Number 14 is Sleepy Hollow, which came out in 1999, and it's a okay film. It's not bad. It's not good. It's just meh, okay. Especially in 1999. 1999 was a great year for movies with like American Beauty, The Matrix, Fight Club, Being John Malkovich, Magnolia. Great year for movies. But in a year with great movies, and you got a Tim Burton film as well, and it's Sleepy Hollow, and it's just okay. It's kind of like, it stinks. It stinks that that's the case. And it didn't do anything for me, which is also why it's still on my list. Next up is Frankenweenie, which, I'll be honest, when I first saw this, I thought it was just okay. I still kind of think that, but to be fair, I understand more of the references now because there's a lot of references to like Frankenstein itself, obviously the title Frankenweenie. But having seen those older films, I understand and appreciate more what Frankenweenie was trying to do. Unfortunately, it's very similar to other Tim Burton films. It's not just the nostalgia of Frankenstein and Young Frankenstein. It's also nostalgic of Tim Burton's other films because this came out in 2012, so this was 6 years ago. So Next up at number 12 is Big Eyes. And this is a film that does not feel at all as if Tim Burton directed it. It is most un-Tim Burton film to date, I would say, because it's not that quirky. It's got a neat performance from Amy Adams and Christoph Waltz, as two artists. But, it's very forgettable. Again, I think that's just because it's like there's no real style to it. He doesn't have a signature touch, which is understandable because it's a biopic type film. But the acting's neat, and that's pretty much what I remember from it. Number 11, this is where people are going to probably shoot me, because number 11 is Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. I know so many people hate this film. I really do. That's understandable, because a lot of people love Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. And I'm going to say right now, I think that movie's just okay. And Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, I also think it's just okay. But the difference is, I think that Tim Burton's style and Johnny Depp's unique performance, I thought were pretty good for the film. Costume design was also good. And that's the thing. Tim Burton is a very visual director. You can always expect great makeup, great costume design, great looking production design. He's very visual. Not too subtle, but again, I'm very mixed about this director. Like I said in the beginning, like some people love him, some people hate him. I'm somewhere in the middle, as you guys can tell. Next up is number 10, which is Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children, which I missed in theaters. I think it was 2 years ago. And when I finally saw it a couple weeks ago, I was like, it was okay. Again, Eva Green, Nessa Butterfield, I think his name is, they're really the only good things about this film. It's basically X-Men, except non-superhero-esque. It's more fantasy. So, his style, Tim Burton's style, shines in that one. Now number 9 is Batman Returns, which Michelle Pfeiffer and Michael Keaton, they are pretty good together. I think this is the film that a lot of people don't like because of it being dark. I actually think it was solid. I liked Tim Burton's style in this film especially. I thought the story was okay for what it was going for. And considering we didn't have Anne Hathaway's Catwoman at the time, it was pretty cool to see Michelle Pfeiffer's take, all these years later. Next up is Tim Burton's Corpse Bride, which is a short film. It's 78 minutes, I think. It gets to the point, very simplistic, but it's cool seeing, this guy who accidentally marries a ghost and then is in this situation where it's like, oh, I gotta marry this human lady, but, I married this ghost. And it's like, it's a peculiar situation, but it's quirky, and Johnny Depp is good in it, as well as Helen Bonham Carter. It's charming for what it's going for. Next up is number 7, which a lot of people have probably as number 1 if they were doing this list, and that's Beetlejuice. I think it's how you say it, Beetlejuice. Michael Keaton is great in this film. He is very funny. I think it's, again, more of a style over substance type film. It's 90 minutes, and it goes by fast. I'll say that much for this film. Number 6 is Pee-wee's Big Adventure. Now, this is a film that has a very, very simplistic story, but it's being shown from the perspective of someone that is, in its own right, very simplistic. So I was able to understand and go with that vibe. I thought it was kind of charming and honestly kind of funny. Again, I know some people that really don't like this film, so considering I have this over Beetlejuice, some people might riot, but it is my list after all. Next up is number 5, Big Fish. Ewan McGregor is really good in this film. And this is a film that is slightly elevated by its story. Like most Tim Burton films, from 6 all the way to 18, the stories are very meh. But this is one where the story is actually solid. Like, it's rock solid. Not just solid, it's rock solid. And it's enjoyable. It's cool to see Ewan McGregor in the lead. And the narration style is unique. I liked it. I think this is a film that Tim Burton did a good job directing. And it is kind of underrated. You don't see too many people talking about it. But Edward Scissorhands is my number 4. And that's a film you hear a lot of people talking about because it's good. You have Johnny Depp. This was before he was big. In this character that is very quirky. This was like the first film kind of where he was doing all these quirky things, and it worked really well with what the film was trying to do. It's a good story. I didn't love it, but I thought it was good. and it's definitely a film worth checking out, as well as obviously Big Fish. The rest of them, I would give like Planet of the Apes. I gave like a 1.5 out of 5, but it's like 1.5, and then number 6, Pee-wee's Big Adventures, like 3.5. So Big Fish number 5 to number 1, or 4 to 5 out of 5 stars. So just so you're able to, pick up with what I'm putting down, if you know what I mean. Number 3 is Batman, the 1989 version. This is a good film. Jack Nicholson as the Joker was really, really good. Obviously, Heath Ledger's performance is better in my opinion, but something, Jack Nicholson does a good job with the material, and he's very enjoyable. Michael Keaton also, I think he's a good Batman, I have to say. I think his costume looks kind of silly now, but I think he does a good job with the voice, and he is brooding, which I liked. Now, down to the final 2, and number 2 is a film I saw recently in my Tim Burton binge, and this is a film that stood out, which is a surprise because Tim Burton is very quirky. But number 2 is Ed Wood. This is a great film. Very, very underrated. You don't hear too many people talking about this film, unfortunately. I feel as though it's a cult film at this point. It's basically about one of the worst movies ever made by one of the worst directors ever made, Ed Wood. And this is a film that I can see inspired Disaster Artist, but I actually like this better than Disaster Artist, which is saying something, because I did enjoy the Disaster Artist for what it was going for. But Ed Wood, my word, this is a film I can definitely see myself rewatching a couple times, because Johnny Depp's great in it, Patricia Arquette's good in it. I think this is a film that Tim Burton's style really shines and has a good hold on the source material and the storytelling too. It's a film that Tim Burton should try for more often. But he should really do more also of number 1, which is a masterpiece in my opinion. Ed Wood's close to being a masterpiece, but number 1 is an absolute masterpiece. I loved every second of it, and that is Sweeney Todd, the Demon Barber of Fleet Street. I love this film. This is a film that really shows off Tim Burton's talent, his hold on visual style, quirky characters, just getting the best performances out of actors, being quick and zippy in terms of pacing, but also memorable, having a memorable villain, and just really making a seemingly simple story be fully fleshed and interesting and entertaining at the same time. Sweeney Todd is easily the best film of Tim Burton's thus far. So that's my list of Tim Burton's films from worst to best. Let me know your thoughts on Tim Burton's films. Have you seen all of his films? If not, if you have, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below, because again, I did rank all 18, which is why this video is longer than my usual videos. So check out his films, and if you've seen all of them, again, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below, and give this video a like, and don't forget the subscription, notification bell, and I'll catch you guys later.